Hey, what's up, family? It's your man, Russ Mitchell, homesick Buckeye, baby. We're back. We're back at it again, doing what we do here, man. Caring, sharing, living, giving. Boy, we laughing, we're learning, and we're growing. And welcome back if you've been here before. If it's your first time, come and join us, man. It's we got room for everybody. I always say this, want to keep saying it. If you find anything here that's informational, educational, in any way of any value, like, subscribe, hit that share button, let your people know that we're doing some things over here, man. Some things that hopefully will help you, uplift you, and help you make changes in your life that you want to make, man. Get you on the right road. That's what we're here to do. And we're going to get right into it, man. This is chapter 2 of my overweight life. I'm just kind of putting together a series of my life and the things I've learned as I've made breakthroughs in my life and changed my life around. And I want to share those things with you in hopes that somebody somewhere, man, can get that inspiration, brother. As long as you got life, as long as you got breath, you can find a way to break through and make those changes and be the person that you want to be. So we're going to get right into it. We're going to pick up in about 1978. I was born in '69. I talked about that and the beginning of my weight problem and the unhealthy relationship I had with food and things of that nature. I talked a little bit about my family. We're going to go deeper in that today because the person that I am, the person that I became, the person I was groomed and made to be, I found out it was so important to understanding myself and I learned important lessons about who I am and how I deal with things and how I was taught to handle the trials of life. And while it was good and wonderful and got me through the toughest times of my life, it was also the thing that hindered me the most. And it was a headwind and a tailwind. So we're going to get into that. My Aunt Wanda, my Uncle Joe, my mom, and my dad were the people that shaped me the most. And if you know anything about psychology, if you've ever dabbled in that, you know that who we are is part nature, part nurture, part what we're born with and how we're wired, and then our environment as well. And my mother, father, Aunt Wanda, and Uncle Joe were the people that made me who I am. As I look back and I see myself, my mother was a very, very, and is, she is a very, very smart, intelligent woman, very bright, college educated, multiple degrees, straight A's, all that stuff. And I get my intellect from her. I always had an easy time in school, and studies and stuff were never difficult to me. And I get that from her because my dad, he'll tell you, but he barely made it out of high school, man. He was hanging on, baby, but he got it through there. But I get that from my mom, my intellect and my desire to read and understand things and research things. And my dad and my Uncle Joe, man, they were old school dudes, man, hard working and the toughness, man, what they instilled in you. No excuses. Quit crying. Nobody wants to hear all that noise. Nobody cares about your problems. Get to work. You ain't got no problems. Get up. Go get it. No, that's how they were raised. They were black men that grew up in the 30s and 40s and had parents that grew up in the late 1800s, early 1900s, man. They life wasn't always kind to them, and they knew they had to make me into a tough-minded person if I was going to make it out there in the world, and that's what they instilled into me. And they were godly men, and they were selfless men, always pouring into their family and always giving in the community and the church and they still are to this day. And then there was my Aunt Wanda. Man, my Aunt Wanda, she was an angel from heaven, the most kind-hearted, loving, unselfish person that I've ever known. And she taught me how to love people. She taught me how to love people and she taught me to always be thankful and grateful for every little thing I had, for every breath, for every blessing. And she'd always tell me, baby, I don't want to see no frowning. You got so much to be thankful and grateful for. And she was always that person. She was amazing. And she taught me so much about the attitude of gratitude. And so I became this person, and as I developed, that was hardworking and never complained and always, tried to help others and was always grateful for every little thing. And then my part, I was silly and goofy and never took anything seriously and always laughing and joking and getting in trouble, class clown, all of that kind of stuff. So again, I became this person who was silly and funny and joking all the time, but hardworking and but yet giving and very grateful and very thankful. And it helped me so much in life to be that kind of person. So I'm in high school, and as we talked about, you get needled and teased a little bit about your weight. I came through high school, no problem there. I was popular and had friends and had a good social life, all that kind of stuff. But I'm about 250 pounds, okay, coming out of high school. I'm a big boy, about 6 feet tall. And when I got out of high school and got into the adult world, something interesting happened. Adults, don't act like kids most of the time. And so the teasing stopped. I wasn't roly-poly, fatso, jelly belly. I wasn't that guy anymore. I became the big guy. Yeah, I was big dog, man. I had a softball team, company softball team, had big dog on my shirt. I was Big Russ. And I began to embrace that thing, man, and I kind of owned it, and I liked it, man. And I had an active social life. I was out there with the ladies, man. I was Big Daddy, Papi Grande. Come get it, mama. Yeah, I was all about that thing. And we had cool big guys too, man, back in the day now, in the 80s, 90s. We had Heavy D and Chubb Brockman at large. Boy, we had some guys out there doing some things, man. So I was representing the big sexy, doing my thing, living my best life, baby. I was doing it. And, I just wasn't thinking about my weight. And I see where I had turned that thing that would kind of was a little bit of a negative into a positive. But that's how I was wired. That's how I was raised to be. Not to complain, not to whine and cry and mope, but to find that silver lining, man. Turn them lemons into lemonade. That was my Aunt Wanda's doing. So here I was, man, out doing my thing. And I was Big Daddy, Big Dog, Big Russ. And I owned it. It wasn't just what I was, it became who I was. So I'm in my early 20s, and I'm starting to work and do stuff and get things together. And I was about it was 1993. I graduated in 1987, 250 pounds. And it was 1993, and I was with my cousins at my uncle's plant. He had a plant and manufactured paper, and he had a freight scale. And I hadn't weighed myself since I left school. I'd played sports and stuff. You had to take physical and stuff. Hadn't weighed myself. And my cousins were goofing around. They were like, get on the scale, man. They were getting on the scale. I'm like, I ain't getting on that scale. I ain't getting on that scale. And, they just needled me. Oh, come on. We know you're fat. Everybody knows you're fat. Get on the scale. And, I didn't really care. I didn't want to hear all that mouth. I didn't want to hear all that foolishness. But they needled me and all that, and I got on the scale. And I was 319 pounds. And, my cousin started messing with me. Oh, man, oh. And, I couldn't let them see me sweat now. I was like, oh, shut up, man. And I made a joke. I was like, one of my cousins was, a scrawny, kind of skinny guy. I was like, oh, what are you laughing at, Bony Tony? Shut up. And, and everybody started laughing. Bony Tony, but that was my way. That was my defense, I could crack some jokes and be silly and get that thing up off me. But in my mind, I was thinking, that's a lot. Is this thing getting away from me? I mean, is this thing getting out of control? And it was the first time in my life that I could remember ever thinking, man, this thing might be getting away from me. And I didn't know this, family. I didn't know this. But it would be 30 years before I weighed myself again. But I was living my best life, man. I was Big Daddy. I was Papi Grande. I was Big Russ, Big Dog. And my mind, which, I was raised with a depression-resistant mind, and it just didn't let me stay down, or it didn't allow me to think about stuff like that. Man, I kept rocking, kept on moving. I'm like, it's nothing. It ain't no thing. So I keep rocking, I keep rolling, man, and I'm gaining more weight. And I get through the mid-90s and late 90s, and I'm doing great, man. I got a good job, and I'm making more money, and I got a little side hustle, and I start racing my horses, in the late 90s. If you know me, you know I love horse racing, and I'm passionate about that thing, man. And I start racing my horses, and we get to 2000. But I want to end the video here at the year 2000. It was around this time that I had another significant point in my life. And I'll discuss that, and we'll move forward from the year 2000 in the next video. But as I always do, I want to encourage you, man. Be strong. Find a way. Find a breakthrough. As long as you got life, as long as you're living, you can find a breakthrough. Find a way to break those chains, man, and change your life and get moving in the right direction. So I want you to keep striving and thriving. Keep living and giving. Baby, be thankful and grateful. Never bitter or hateful. And as always, I wish you all the best. And I'll see you on the next one.